Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space and a product review. I have not done a dedicated product review in a very long time. I honestly can't remember the last time. Let's get all the disclaimers out of the way first. 1, I purchased this myself. Wasn't sent to me. 2, even if it had been sent to me, because brands do send me products, tools, different things. I don't do paid reviews, as in like, oh, if they give me X amount of money, I'll be like, ooh, look at this fabulous, amazing thing. No, won't do it. Just, that's not how I roll. I'm always just going to give my honest opinion. And more often than not, if I don't like something, I'm just not going to share it, because that's the thing in just with everything, whether it's crafting or just life in general. Sometimes what doesn't work for me or what I don't like, other people absolutely love it. So to each their own. So anyway, last year at whatever point, I don't remember when, the precision glue press came out and I bought it right out the gate. I purchased 2 of them. I'll explain why later. But yeah, there was like reviews, there was outrage, there was people love it. Like it's all over the spectrum. And I just held off doing a dedicated review because I really wanted to try it out and see what I genuinely thought about it before showing it. And that's why I have not shown it in any of my videos other than my patron supporters. I've shown it in videos to them, but I wasn't showing it in my videos because I wanted to get a good feel for this. So I will unbox this one just to show how it comes in the box and then my thoughts on it. So let's just get right into it. Here we go. So this is it. This is the box. Comes just like this. And you open it up and you got that and that. So basically, okay, you have the press itself, the stand, and then there's 2 bottles. One has glue in it, one is empty. They have different color tips, and there's a reason for that because it's 2 different tip sizes. So there's what I would call a normal size tip and then a fine tip. So the whiter kind of clearish one is the finer tip. That one, the like grayish color plastic, is the wider tip. And then what I really liked about these specifically is the lids have needles like in them, like it's part of the lid, and it's very easy to do, so that just helps with clogging. So it just fits. With the finer one, it takes a second. There you go. So these are made by Tonic. So it's made to fit specifically this shape of bottle. This is what the Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive has always come out with. Those that have watched my videos for a very long time know that this was actually one of my favorite glues for many years. I still love it. But I've been using like the Tacky glue again for I don't even know how many years. Glue, personal preference. That's why you get an empty bottle. So you can fill this with the glue of your choice. Again, personal preference. So I still like the Nuvo, but I do prefer the Craft. I've been using it for so many years. I'm used to it. However, this is one of the thickest glues on the market. It's very, very thick. Some people do not like it. That's fine. Again, personal preference. We now have a billion options. Whatever glue works for you. But yeah, this is a very thick glue, and I was using and still use the little precision tip bottles with my glue, which has been great. However, I do find that if I do not keep this bottle full, the pressure for me pressing into this when I'm like, and if it's not full, you have to press more, obviously. And I've been finding like I've been having issues with my hands. I already have, and I've talked about this. I have borderline carpal tunnel issues. I have like pre-arthritis issues, things like that. So while this works great, and it would probably work better, again, I have craft tacky glue in this thing. It is thick glue. So if I just switched to a thinner glue, things would probably work a lot better for me. But one, I'm stubborn. Two, I don't like changing what I already like. So anyway, that's why I ordered this, because I was like, ooh, you know? So I filled this with my craft tacky. That is a drawback, especially with a thick glue. It's a little bit annoying. I don't mind it, but I know some people it'll really annoy them to fill, you know, one of these, especially with a thick glue. With thinner glues, it's not difficult at all. You know, fill it up, you're good to go. But that is just a bit of a drawback, is you are limited to just this shape. So you can't just like pop in whatever random type of glue, but is what it is. So that's one thing. So I filled mine with craft tacky glues, and I actually labeled just to make sure, so I know. I just printed a label, slapped it on the bottle so that I know, like, this is actually Nuvo adhesive. Because I've got a couple, because again, I ordered an extra one. So there's that. My other little pet peeve right off the bat is, so there's a little silicone stopper. And the whole point of this is, the idea is that it won't clog. If you put it in here properly, and I will show the one I've had on my desk, is if this is sitting in here properly, you know, it doesn't have its lid on, and the tip is pressed against the silicone, you know, it's not supposed to clog, because that's supposed to be a stopper. My only pet peeve, I don't like how it's got like a bump instead of just a smooth piece, if that makes sense. I find mine always slides off the little bump no matter what I do. It kind of just goes like this, or like that. Like that it annoys me, but not the end of the world. I have heard people that use much thinner glues. Again, it depends on what you use, but there are obviously much thinner consistency glues on the market. I have heard issues of the thinner glues, like even when it's docked properly, that it will just leak like all over the place. I have not had that problem, but again, I use ridiculously thick glue. So, do I think it is completely clog proof? No. Mine still clogs. I will let it sit for a good week or longer. This has actually been sitting for, I'm not sure how long, a couple weeks. And usually it'll develop a little skin right on it, which you can just pull off if it's been sitting for a while. It is recommended, like, if you're not going to use it, if you're not going to craft for a while, take it out, put the lid on, you know. But I've been testing it out and letting it sit just to see, but I can see just by looking at it that this is clogged. So this is the full size one, but it is clogged. It's not going to come out. It's clogged. I don't mind that, because I find no matter what, everything has clogged. My regular glue clogs. This is clogged on me. I'm really bad sometimes about leaving my glues out without putting the lid on, like while I'm crafting. I'm in a drier climate. Things dry out, they clog. I keep needles on my desk. I have a little pin cushion. I use them all the time, and I do the same thing with these. I can either use a needle, you know, and just work it out, and it'll be good to go. Or the lid, you know, same thing. You can take the lid, get it in there, and then, you know, screw it on and then remove it like multiple times. And even my lid's actually got like a buildup on it, or like the needle of the lid. But you can do that as well, just to unclog it. So I don't consider it completely clog proof no matter what, but it still works. And then once I get it unclogged, it's good to go. So far I've been using the fine tip more. I have the wider one in here. I don't know why. The thing to remember with these is the side that has the brand etched into it on these bottles. This side of the plastic is actually softer than the front. They made it purposely like that so that you put that in this way, so that brand is facing the bottom of this, because that's what'll give the pressure to squeeze out the glue. And then you need to just click it in, you know, so it's all the way in, it's flush, it's in, it's ready to go. So I've been finding that I really like this. I have smaller hands. I don't have like very big hands, but I find for me and my hands, I've been finding this to be actually quite comfortable. Um, I have noticed that for me, I don't get the pains in my hands when I'm doing like a lot of finicky little die cuts, things like that. It does take a little bit of, I would say a little bit of learning curve. I should have filmed like my first impressions when I first got this, because I was like, but I took to it. I'm usually holding up my cardstock a lot of times when like I'm not gluing straight down. That is the thing. You do basically glue kind of on an angle. You don't glue like this because you're not going to see it. But I don't do that anyway. I think for me personally, because I'm so used to filming everything I do, that it's just, I developed that habit of like keeping things out of the way so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I didn't find this weird to be like, oh, you do this, So I don't have an issue with it, but it is for a lot of people. I think it would be a learning curve, but yeah. So this is why I bought a second system, because you can have, so I don't have to switch between. That was it. That was the reason. So I can have both of my bottles of glue with both tips, because I switch between when I'm doing full panels, I would use a wider tip because it's faster. But when I'm doing little die cuts, things that need little tiny bits of glue, I'm using the fine tip. And for me, it just annoys me having to switch between them. So the other cool thing is once you see, and even sometimes the needle can like get clogged in here. This has been sitting for a while. There's a little nubbin on the base. I thought that was cool. That fits the lid, so it's just there, And again, I've got the back of it, and it clicks in. And then we've got our glue. So this bottle has been sitting upright for a while, so there's no glue there. So we need to kind of get it back down where it needs to be, and then we can do the finer tip. So because this is a thicker glue, for me, I have to apply more pressure to get it, to come out. But for me, this does not bother me. I have heard some people though that like this action and holding it, like it causes more pressure on them, like on their hand or their wrist. Depends on the person. So for me, I have been finding it works great. And I wanted to do this review to show this so that I can start like just using it in videos, and then I can just refer back to this review. And I'm pretty sure it is clogged again. Making sure. I probably had buildup in here from it sitting for so long because I hadn't used this one in a while. But again, this is where I just take a needle. Take a needle. Get it in there. Yeah. So it still clogs. Again, for me, I don't consider that like a huge drawback because all my glues clog. And there we go. So yeah, I'm used to it and I just accept it. So the base, like that's the biggest habit too, is getting into the habit of, because like, I glue something and then I just do this. It doesn't have the lid on. And it was getting into the habit of like, you glue, you shouldn't be going like this. You should just stick it in here because the silicone little stopper, holds it. It still annoys me no matter what. Just that little bump, because it makes it like not sit properly. It annoys me. But again, not the end of the world. The other thing people I've heard don't like is that like this does take up a decent amount of real estate. It does. And yeah, me getting two of them. Let me get my other one that has, there we go. My plan to have both like on the go when I'm crafting, this now takes up a decent amount of space. So it is a concern. Like most people are not going to have two. They're usually going to have just one. But there we go. So I plan on kind of keeping them more. Then that's what I've been doing. I've been keeping mine kind of up in the corner. And then you always do need to remember to not to have things in the way, like right here, because obviously this needs to be in its little docking station. You don't want stuff in the way of this, because obviously if you have things piled up here and then you're going like this, it's not where it's supposed to be and it's going to clog. Still recommend just keeping needles on stuff. With these, you don't need needles because the lids thankfully have that on there for you, which I do genuinely like. So if you don't have needles on stash, like in your stash, but I recommend it. They come in handy. You never know when you need to poke a hole in something, and glue just clogs. At least for me. So really, genuinely, I'm glad I bought these. I don't regret it. I did purchase, and I'm not sure if they've changed over to this in the package, because again, I ordered the main sets way back when they were first released, and then I purchased, you can get replacement nozzles and bottles, so it's a pack like this, and that's where I think, I'm not even sure, one of the bottles I think that I refilled. Yes, that's one of these bottles, because I have 2 filled with the Craft Tacky glue. I'm still going to use these ones, but anyway, you can purchase replacement. Heck, you could just get this if you don't want to use this, but you like just the shape of bottle and the idea of the 2 tips, because the package comes with the refillable bottle and then the 2 tips with the lids. So anyway, the difference though is this is a white one instead of, this one was like kind of cloudy. So now the fine one is like a white tip, and then the wider one is still that sort of grayish plastic. It's not a big deal. I noticed the difference and I was like, huh, okay, whatever. So you do have those options. I just purchased backups because I would rather be safe than sorry. It helps with my anxiety. So it's like I've got, extra tips. If I manage, because I do manage to wreck things, I at least have backups. And plus, in case I do want to play around with other glues, I then have the options to fill these bottles with other types of glue if I want. But honestly, again, I like my Craft Tacky. If I was going to do anything else, I would just use the Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive, because that's my second favorite. But again, there are many good glues on the market. I didn't bother writing down a script for this. It's all unscripted, you guys. This is how I roll. But I think off the top of my head, but I will have links to everything in the description box below. This is $35 US. A bit of a sticker shock for some people. However, a full bottle of the glue is around $7 to $8 of the Deluxe Adhesive. This is a 2-ounce bottle of glue. So you get a full bottle of adhesive with that. You get the empty bottle, the fine tips, etc. So in the end, it works out to not quite that much. I also do know when it comes to manufacturing things like this, molded plastic stuff, it's unbelievably expensive. Yeah, it is horrendously expensive for craft manufacturers to manufacture something from scratch and not repurposing other things. So that also add into it. And if I'm going to be really petty, and I'm going to be picky, my other drawback is the color. I'm not surprised. This is the classic MISTI colors, this pinky red color and black. I would have preferred it to be in white, say white and aqua or aqua and something. If I'm going to be that petty. But at the end of the day, I am happy with these. I don't regret purchasing them. And yeah, they've been selling out like crazy. That's also why I've been holding off doing a review. These things have been selling out every time they restock. So even though there has been some drama and hatred, I've seen it. I'm online. I see it. They've been selling out every store that gets them back in stock. They're gone. And I got notification that these were back in stock. So I was like, maybe I should film that review. I'm sure by the time I get this edited and posted, it's probably going to be sold out. But is what it is. But I finally did this, filmed it. This is my just unfiltered, unscripted thoughts on these. You guys will see me using them in my videos. And I'll just have links to the tool and then the glue that I use. And yeah, it's a little time consuming filling up with thick glue. With thin glue, it's not a big deal. But I've done it, you know, with this. It's the same idea. It's just a bigger bottle. Like if I can fill this little dude with, you know, it's the same sort of opening with craft tacky glue. I've done stuff like this, like decanted things. Yeah, they're practically the same size. This is actually a little bit bigger, which is nice. But it's like, I manage it, man. It's not easy. I'm not going to fill this like on camera, not this bottle, because like I said, I might save this for another project. But like this bottle is getting close to empty. But the biggest thing I do is, it's kind of hard to show, but I do the same thing with this, is I squeeze out as much of the air. And then when I'm going to fill it, when you're working with a thick glue, it's going to come out in a big glob. So if I've squeezed out the air, I can then kind of, let's see if I can kind of tilt this to the side. There we go. And then I slowly start releasing the air from this smaller bottle. And then it's basically just kind of sucking the glue from the big bottle, if that makes sense. That's how I do it. So for me, that's what works. But again, I make my life difficult because I like working with difficult products. You know, I do. I like this glue. It's thick. It's ridiculous, but it works for me. And yeah, so that's how I've refilled this guy. That's how I filled these guys, is what it is. Yeah, this is a 2-ounce bottle as well. So one of these will fill one of these. So that's my thoughts on it. For me, it does. I'm glad that this has worked for me, because yeah, it was to get these back when they first came out, and like the shipping, everything, it was not cheap. And if they hadn't worked out, it would have sucked, you know. But for me and my hands, they've been working great. I have been enjoying them. So I'm glad I finally sat down and did this review, because yeah, you guys will see me just using these in future videos, because it just works. So I think I covered everything. If I didn't, let me know. Any questions in the comments, in the comment section below the video. And then, like I said, I've got links to all the things. Those will be linked in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. Thumbs up, comment, let those robot overlords know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And yeah, I've got a huge backlog of videos coming. I also have just a ton on my channel. Most of them card making, not as many product reviews, but there'll still be the occasional product review here and there. And yeah, that's it for now. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.